Learning. It's a great skill to have. We started doing it the moment we became living beings on this earth. We take in information, we have experiences, and we're making these neural connections, and novelty and learning is stimulating our dopamine system, so it's really fun to learn. And then at night when we go to sleep, we store all of that information in our hippocampus, our memory center, and then we can pull it out and use it again when we need it. And learning becomes our skills. The more we do something, the more we learn it, it becomes a very well crafted and practiced skill, which then becomes your personality, which becomes your actions, which becomes who you are as a person. And sometimes we want to change things, but if we're constantly going back to that memory of those neural connections that we made to this learning habit, it's going to be really hard to change them because we're constantly going back and using those same neural patterns of that learned thought, action, right? And so when we want to remember something, we're remembering those neural connections and strengthening them yet again. So how do we make a change? Well, we just learn more, right? Learn something different. Okay, cool, I'm for that. So say you want to make a change about something you're doing in your life or the way you're perceiving life. Cool, let me read a book about it. That way I will learn how to do X, Y, and Z. Cool, let me watch a YouTube video on it, learning. Now let me listen to a podcast about it. And now let me change my diet because that'll affect it. And let me change my exercise routine because that's going to change it as well. And all I really want to do is change some learned trait that I've had for probably over 20 years. So now I'm just piling on more learning on top of it, And it's really heavy down here. So there's no way that this is going to change because I've just piled stuff on top of it. Yeah, you can pile stuff on top of it for a little while, but it's not going to last. So what's the trick then? How do we make change? Change catalyzes change, and same remains the same. So did we really get rid of this learned trait that we're trying to get rid of, or did we just cover it up like a Band-Aid? So maybe the trick isn't to just learn, but maybe it's to unlearn, and reveal what's been having you do these certain things for so long. And at that place, let's dismantle, let's demember to remember new neural connections to create a new habit. And this isn't something that happens overnight. We've learned things that we didn't even realize we learned, and it becomes a part of us. We went to family university. I went to Mauro University and graduated with flying colors because I was immersed in my family household for most of my life as a child. And we're little sponges. We just take it all in and it becomes embedded in us. We don't have to think about some things. For example, I grew up in a household where scaring children was a common practice and it was fun. Unless you were the child and it was not fun. And so now I seem to find joy in scaring children and it just comes out. I can't even help it. I don't try to. I was surfing the other day and a little kid came and paddled over and he was like, "Wow, look, the little fish are jumping." And I was like, "Oh, wow, if the little fish are jumping, that means there's really big fish underneath trying to eat them." And he was like, he paddled back over to his dad. And part of me was like, And then part of me said, that's not great. I just scared a child. But it's embedded in me because I learned that. I was absorbed in that environment. And we also grew up in a society where learning is, we are taught what to think and what to learn, not how to learn. So as an adult, it's very easy to just read the news, read social media, and believe everything that it says. Because we were taught learning means memorize what you're told. Don't think about it, not how to think about it, and say, I don't know if I agree with that. No. That's not going to get you 100 on a test. Just do as you're told. And now we are in a place when we want to make changes from these habits that we have, or these thoughts, or these relationships that we keep bringing to us. and we don't know what to do about it. So again, we just keep learning and adding on the self-help, and we're just drowning in information instead of dismantling all that information and unlearning everything that we learned probably 20 years ago or more. So what if I told you it's time to unlearn? It's time to unpack all of this. We want to dismember those neural connections that we made from all of that learning that's causing us to act a certain way. And now it's time to remember new neural connections to create a stronger foundation for you to make a change. Change catalyzes change, and same remains the same. So if we keep pulling out these same memories and these same patterns, we're going to strengthen them again and nothing's going to happen. You can pile on as much information as you want and be overwhelmed, and it's not going to make a substantial lifelong change. We need to get rid of all this extra stuff, like clean out shop and unlearn to relearn. Get down to the root of it. Like if you're going to pull out a weed, you got to pull down from the root. You can't just pick the top off. We want to dig down there, open up the soil, and now plant new roots in with new thought patterns. And this takes time and practice. And the more we practice those new patterns, those old ways are going to go away, and those new patterns are going to be what guide your day. It's how you're going to act then. It's how you're going to respond. It's how you're going to attract relationships into your life. So if you really want to make a change, let's reverse the thought process. Learn how to think for yourself instead of just what to think. Unleash all of those thoughts that have been telling you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, right? Get rid of them. Bye. Unlearn them. Unlearn them so that you can create a life that you want from choices that you have decided, and practice those over and over and over again to strengthen those new neural connections. And then watch how your life will begin to change. Your relationships will begin to change. And that is you knowing that you have made a substantial change from unlearning.